Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel today. My name is Christian and today we're here to talk about the new record from Japanese pop rock band 1OK Rock. This is their 8th studio record and it is titled Ambitions. This band have been killing it in Japan for nearly a decade now, and they've only really just started to try and push into the international market and become successful overseas. I've never been a massive fan of a lot of the bands that come out of Japan, bands like Crossfaith and Cold Drain, and I'm also very hesitant going into any record that is shoved down your throat by the media. There are some bands where it pays off, bands like Paris who were pushed for ages and ages, and then finally I listened to the record and it was absolutely incredible. And then there are other bands like 5 Seconds of Summer. Now, to get into this record, is it a good record? In parts it's a good record, but is it a bad record? Kind of, but I don't know if I'd use that strong a terminology. This record starts out really strong and it actually shocked me, but from there on it kind of deteriorates. However, it does pick up towards the end, so let's get into it. Ambitions is a nice ambient opening track to this record that is really just a build up to the first track, Bombs Away. Bombs Away is the best track on this record, full of a powerful vocal performance and some great guitar work. And I really like the bits of sampling that are intercut throughout this track. The vocalist is absolutely brilliant on this track and the melody is absolutely incredible, especially the chorus. And the vocalist has this real sense of urgency and fun. Taking Off is then next up on the record, and it is the best guitar performance on this record, purely in the feel of it just sounding absolutely massive. Another big factor is also the drumming throughout this track, which really drives the track along well. There's a great contrast between the verses and the choruses, which really make those choruses sound so much bigger. They are absolutely massive. As I said, the chorus is absolutely massive, and vocally throughout that chorus there's a real Issues influence in those vocal lines, and you can see where they got that considering they've toured with Issues many times before. The feel and the groove to this song really add a lot to it, and it makes it really enjoyable to listen to. We Are is then next up, and it starts out with a really big 30 Seconds to Mars feel, especially with those gang vocals in the beginning. There's also a lot more sampling throughout this track, including a lot of drum machine work. The vocalist once again puts in a great vocal performance, and this guy really knows how to write a hook and a great chorus. This song is a nice tonal shift from what we got on the first couple of songs on this record, and it really lets you delve into what the vocalist is singing about. This vocalist really has a great voice, and he has a level of grit to his voice that really makes him stand out. Lyrically, it's typical pop rock, but the way he sings and his vocal performance and the melodies that he chooses to sing really elevate a lot of the sections. The big choir and gang vocals really do get overused on this record, but when they work really well. Jaded is next up on the record, and it features Alex Gaskarth from All Time Low. This song is a lot poppier and uses acoustic guitar to really drive this track forward, and there's lots of sampling throughout this track, but it really helps to elevate a lot of the sections. Alex's guest spot on this song is really welcome. It's great to hear this guy sing on a new track, and it makes me really excited for a new All Time Low record. The chorus is good, but the vocals are a little bit too layered. Other than that, I really enjoy this track. From here on in the record, we go to a much more pop-oriented sound, and the rock part really takes a backseat. And this is honestly the point where, unfortunately, the album starts to go downhill. Hard to Love is an acoustic-driven track which unfortunately feels flat and feels like a bit of filler. There's nothing particularly bad about the song, but it's not to the same standard musically or melodically. This song is very overproduced, and any sense of emotion that's trying to be put across is really pulled away. Bedroom Warfare is next up, and I can tell why. It was one of the singles. It's very pop-orientated and very radio friendly. I really find this song very pandering, and it feels like it was made in a laboratory. It's incredibly formulaic and very boring. Up next is American Girls, which is basically a 5 Seconds of Summer rip-off track, and again just feels very pandering. Sounds completely disingenuous and once again formulaic. That would be fine if it was a well-written, catchy song with good lyrics, but unfortunately it's the complete opposite of that. I read a quote from this band before I listened to the record saying that they wrote this record with the complete idea of success. And that made me incredibly hesitant going into this record, because when bands say that, it makes me think that they don't actually really care about the music anymore, they just want to be successful. And there are songs on this record that you can look at and go, yep, I can totally see that you wrote this song just to pander to a large audience. And it really takes a lot of the artistic integrity out of this record. I Was King is another single from this record, and it brings back a bit of the rock feel to the record. However, it still leans heavily on that pop side. The thing is, they do rock a lot better than they do pop, and when the rock is stripped away, it really shows a lot of flaws. And it's very evident on this track because the verses are very pop orientated, and then the rock really comes in the choruses, and the choruses are so much better than the verses. The production overall on this record works when those rock elements are in there. But when the rock is stripped away, especially in the second half of this record, everything starts to sound very, very robotic. It really removes any human element to this record, which is really unfortunate. Listen is a track that, on the Japanese version of this record, there is a feature from Avril Lavigne. And honestly, listening to this song, I didn't listen to the Avril version, but I'm not quite sure where she'd fit in. This is a sample-driven track, which vocally has a lot of auto-tune all the way over these vocals, and you can really hear it very clearly. Sounds like a song that came straight off of Top 40 radio, and once again, as I've said multiple times throughout this review, feels very formulaic. One Way Ticket opens up like a Justin Bieber song and is once again a clear example of the difference in quality between the first half of this record and the second half. It's very sample driven once again, and there is completely no element of rock music to it. Another issue to this record is its length. It really has no business being 49 minutes long, especially for music in this type of style. It's a lot to ask of people to sit down and listen to this type of music from this same band for 49 minutes, and the record really starts to drag. Bon Voyage brings the guitar back into this record, and the guitar really interplays with a lot of sampling throughout this track. I really enjoy the bass playing on this track. It's really funky and works really well, elevates especially the verses. It's really great to hear the guitar back in this track, and it really, again, highlights the difference in quality. Similarly, Start Again has that rock feel as well, and it really highlights what the band are good at. The chorus is strong on this song, but unfortunately it comes a little too late, and the record is really dragging at this point. It's refreshing to have the rock back, but it just took too long. Finally, on this record, we have the track Take What You Want, which features 5 Seconds of Summer. And it's actually the strongest track on the second half. Has that rock feel and a very good vocal performance. Even the 5 Sauce guest spot is welcome. It's incredibly auto-tuned, but it suits the song. It's a nice way to close out this record, but once again, it just should have come earlier. Overall, I really enjoyed the first half of this record, but the second half really brought this whole record down. There is so much pandering on this record, and if the band had just stuck to what they know, what they love doing, what they're good at, instead of trying to just go for success, the quality of this record, I can only imagine, would have been a lot better. My top 3 tracks are going to be Bombs Away, Taking Off, and We Are, and I'm going to give this record a 2.5 out of 5. Anyway, what did you guys think about the record? Let me know your thoughts and opinions down below in the comment section. Did you like the record? Did you not like the record? Let me know your thoughts. We're here to have a conversation about music, so let's do that. But if you're just going to fill up the comment section with hate and insults, just know I'm going to read your comments and laugh at how pathetic your life is. Anyway, thanks for watching my video today, guys. Please hit subscribe down below, and I'll see you next time. Fresh Currents.